Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, the fast-paced action RPG based on the popular Solo Leveling franchise, has just been released. Head on over to Steam to begin Sung Jin-woo's epic journey to become Shadow Monarch today.
Years after Metroid Prime 3, we are finally here. Timothy, Robert Geddes. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, for an action-packed episode featuring Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. New York Game Awards nominated, a.k.a. Leftover Poppy Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Greg.
Never mind the man on the wall. Over there, the Hispanic heartthrob, Texas Street Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds. The globe trotting, headshot and three-point shooting, rootin', tootin', nitro rifle from twitch.tv. Andy Cortez.
Got to hang out with Awa. We're all blessed by Awa today.
Oh,
what's up?
This is the Avatar stuff?
Of course, yeah.
Cool.
Neytiri.
Sigourney Weaver was weird?
He's out there.
Weirder than ever. You wouldn't fucking believe, Craig.
Sigourney Weaver.
Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the expectant father, Timothy Robert Geddes.
Within this week, I saw Avatar 3 and beat Metroid Prime 4. What world am I in? It's
That's
crazy.
the future.
It's insane. I would have never believed it 18 years ago for either of those things, right? Like, it's like Metroid Prime 3, Avatar 1 coming out at pretty much the same time, give or take a year. Wild stuff.
What a time for you to
I do want to, before we actually introduce Logan.
And the man on the wall, of course, from IGN.com, it's Logan Plant. Hello, Logan.
Beyond. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So hyped to talk about this game that 8 years ago was announced at my first ever industry event, E3 2017. It's crazy.
You knew then you'd review it.
Yeah,
would you ever believe?
If you had told me I was going to review it, I would have been like, wow. I'm gonna get there in the next like 2 or 3 years. That's crazy. Oh no, just kidding. It's gonna take a decade to come out.
I do want to, before we get into everything, Kev, if you could bring up the video of our reaction to when Metroid Prime 4 was first announced in 2017.
Wow.
Can we hear it?
Really phoning in with the background there, Andy.
You were drunk.
No. Don't touch me. It's not happening.
Starfield?
I think I might need
Wow.
again here, Andy.
Fucking shit! I don't believe anybody anymore.
What am I writing down?
Is it retro? Is it fucking retro?
Oh, now in development or whatever.
It's gotta be retro.
It wasn't.
And who would have thought it wasn't retro and then would end up being retro? It's crazy how video games work.
What
Man.
a journey it's been.
That was, I mean, what was wild about that is one of
thin we
the
all
many Mr. How thin we are. One of the many Mr. Nintendos out there that we have, right? Somebody told me, like, oh yeah, this direct, it's gonna be okay. Like, there's nothing too crazy in it. They fucking lied to me. Metroid Prime 4 announced. Wild. But yeah, we wouldn't play it for another decade.
Well, here we are ready to review it. But before that, I'll remind you that this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table, coming to talk about everything in video games that needs to be talked about. Whether it be reviews, previews, or just topics we need to tackle, we do it on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Of course, podcast services around the globe. If you like that, we'd love you to pick up a Kind of Funny membership. Patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple or Spotify. You toss us $10 and we give you each and every episode of Kind of Funny content ad-free. That's more than $80 a month. And of course, your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, an exclusive podcast we call Greg Way. On top of all that, you'd get good karma for supporting an 11-person small business. Freeze fame. Of course, if you have no bucks sauce or way, no big what?
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah, you better. I won't have you insult Blessing, okay?
Yeah. Watch your fucking mouth.
Of course, if you have no bucks, toss our way, like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, tell your friends. Of course, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, give us your free 30-day subscription. They don't auto-renew and don't tell you about. Of course, if you want to be part of this show live as we go to ask Tim and Logan questions about Metroid Prime 4, YouTube Super Chat to be part of the show on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. We have some people rolling in already from Gondor's Condo or El Sanchez, but we'll get to all that later. Of course, we are a 11-person small business all about live talk shows. Kinda Funny Games Daily already happened, and it covered the mysterious Game Awards statue and its possible meanings. After this is going to be the one, the only, Greg Miller, Mr. Hawks, Mike, and I think Joey, I can't remember if she's on it or not. We're jumping into the new Fallout 76 Burning Springs update to see Walton Goggins, and I'm going to become a ghoul. I've decided I'm going to take my character of however many 100 hours and make them into a ghoul on this stream, so I'm excited for that.
First name Gaba.
I like that.
Thank you. Thank
You know what, you're
Bless.
forgiven.
That was
Thank
fucking
you.
good. All right, that was good.
Thank you.
Tim, you need to step it up. Logan, you're doing great. If you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Greg Ways, 18 minutes asking, will Metroid fill my ocarina hole? Thank you. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney, the Psalm Twining. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be topic of the show. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond reviews are upon us. Of course, the game drops December 4th, 2025, Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. It was developed by Retro, of course, published by Nintendo, and the official description from Nintendo reads, when responding to a distress call from the Galactic Federation, Samus Aran becomes entangled in an unexpected disaster. Now she must explore the unknown planet Vuros. In this...
Close. Vuros.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Close. I thought
guys.
you were
I'm sorry.
looking for-
It's clearly spelled Viewros. You can't come in here just because you reviewed it and change the English
Okay,
language.
yeah, I'll
Wouldn't
shut
there
up.
be two
Fair.
S's if it was Ross?
You know what? Are you who side are you on? How do you say DOS?
Okay.
Bam, bam,
What
bam.
about Ross
real
from
word.
Friends?
Pivot. Great character. In this first-person adventure, as I said, it has been 18 years since Metroid Prime 3, 8 years after the sequel was first announced. Timothy, I feel like it's only natural after watching that reaction when we were all so young and virile and could pronounce words to begin with you. How much have you played? Have you beaten it? What? Give me all the nitty-gritty details, and of course, your score on our Kind of Funny scale.
I have beat Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is incredibly exciting to me. I am so excited to be able to talk about it. I wish more of us could have played it. Obviously, Nintendo only gives out one code. We do have a fully stacked cast here, and I just love.
Lots of questions.
Y'all didn't get to play it, but I just, if you have questions, I want to hear all of them.
Yeah.
But Logan did play it, and him and I have been going back and forth, and I'm very thankful for that because this is the type of game that the moment I finish it, I was like, I need to talk to somebody.
Okay.
It is so incredibly special to me, and I just think as a video game. So very, very happy to be here with you gentlemen today. This game, I mean, as you saw, my reaction to it being formally announced was such a big deal and is still such a big deal to me. I love Metroid. I love Metroid Prime. And I was waiting for this even longer than the 10 years, whatever it was, because I remember the Wii U era. Like, I've been a Nintendo fan my entire life, like going through the Wii, having the highs of the Mario Galaxies, but then getting to the Wii U. And I will stand by till the end of time that the library of the Wii U is fantastic. The hardware's not, whatever. But we never got that Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
We never got the HD Metroid Prime. Like, the last Metroid we got was still stuck on the Wii in SD. And I remember talking to Fran Mirabella at E3 when they announced the Wii U and us being like nerding out of like, can you imagine the HD Metroid?
Oh, man.
Like, we know Retro's going to do it. And they announced Tropical Freeze, and it was like one of my favorite games ever. I'm not talking shit.
You ain't talking
but
shit.
them going back to Donkey Kong Country, it was like, really? Like, you're not going to give me an HD Metroid Prime? So I've been looking forward to this for a very long time, and I think that it completely has met my expectations. I am giving Metroid Prime 4 Beyond a 9 out of 10 on the Kind of Funny scale. I think it is an amazing video game. It is not without its flaws. We will talk about all of those. But as soon as the credits hit for me, I walked away being like, man, that was such a special experience, and I care so much more about the highs than I do about the things that kind of take it down from me. And I think that the biggest issue with this game is its subtitle. I don't think this goes beyond Metroid Prime at all. This is just Metroid Prime. But there's nothing quite like Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is, in my opinion, maybe the most special video game ever. The way that it translated 2D Metroid into 3D, into first person, it felt like an impossible task. And when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's a first-person shooter. It's simply not. It's a first-person adventure game. I know there's a lot of like joke, meme conversations around that, but quite literally, there's no game like Metroid Prime. It controls so uniquely and so perfectly, and I think that this is the most refined control scheme that a Metroid Prime game has ever had.
Oh, wow.
You have so many different options. The things that this game does technically and how amazingly it runs in 1080p, 120 frames per second with motion controls, with mouse controls. It's like, I can't believe this is a Nintendo product. It's mind-blowing. If you're playing in the 4K 60, it's a locked 60. It's wild, man. This game, the art styles that Nintendo has are always so beautiful, and the Metroid Prime games, I think, are prime examples of that, and they've never looked better. It's never sounded better. Like, all the stuff you want from a Metroid Prime, atmosphere-wise, it's here. The music is incredible in this game. I think that this is easily the best Metroid Prime since Metroid Prime 1. I think that this dwarfs Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I don't think that overall it's going to stand the test of time the way that 1 does. Any complaint that people have had looking at any of the previews or trailers, they're there. The desert is empty. The companions aren't great. That's all true. But when I reflect on Metroid Prime in a couple years, I'm going to think about the locations that are my favorite in the entire franchise. There are multiple areas that I'm like, this is all-time design for Metroid Prime. And I'm going to think about the journey that I had and how I wanted to do every single thing the game allowed me to as I was playing it. Like, it took over my life. It's all I wanted to think about, and it is so, so special to me.
Okay. A 9 out of 10 from Timothy. Logan, of course, your IGN review is up. I held off on reviewing or reading it because I wanted you to review it and hear it. So talk to me now. Where are you with your score? How long did it take you to beat you, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, it took me about 15 hours to beat. I echo a lot of what Tim said. I think that this game is awesome. I really, really love Metroid Prime 4, and it is a game of extreme highs and extreme lows. I think there's moments in Prime 4 that are a 10 out of 10. I think there's plenty of moments that are a 5 out of 10. Oof. And so walking away with it, it's like, how do you reconcile all that? And I landed on an 8 out of 10 for my review over at IGN, which means great game. That also is great, I think, on your kind of funny scale as well.
But they're
it's
totally
great.
different. Don't tell Pear about it. They're totally different scales.
Totally different.
We don't need to do any
legally
legal
distinct
looking. Yeah,
from
exactly,
the IGN scale. Yeah, but it's great. It's really awesome, and I totally agree that what I'll take away, and this was the hardest review I've ever had to write because it was such a crunch review period, being over the Thanksgiving holiday, having to cram this game in, write out my thoughts the day after I finished it. Yeah. And then as the week went on, my thoughts radically changed, and I tear down the review and I build it all back up again, because as the game kind of settles with you, what you walk away with are the highs. That some of these areas are the best areas in the Metroid Prime series, and it has that special world building that Prime does so well. Lots of games have audio logs and things you read or listen to get this world building, but in Metroid Prime, you see it. You go to a factory, and that factory is functioning, and you can just go through the level if you want to, or you can scan every moving robotic arm in this factory, read about why it was built and what it's doing, and then you see it in motion. It's like, oh yeah, that is what this is doing here, and it works effortlessly, and then that plays into the puzzle design. Like, Metroid is so special, and no other series really does stuff like this, and it's just so awesome to have a game like this. The Arkham games are very similar. The Star Wars Jedi games take a lot of inspiration, but it's been 18 years without Metroid Prime, and it's back. I don't think it's as good as Prime 2. I love that game. I think of it more close to Prime 3, but it is definitely in line with the Prime sequels as a very, very great game.
Before we get into open discussion, as I said, Logan, I held off on reading your IGN review, but of course I couldn't miss you on BS. That's a blue sky, Tim. Mm-hmm. You put this up, and this actually became the subject of today's Greg Way. Today, 4 hours ago on Blue Sky, you said, calling all Zelda fans who missed the traditional Ocarina of Time style, play Metroid Prime 4. Like Prime 2 and 3, it has more self-contained areas with key upgrades and great bosses. It's the closest thing in Nintendo's current lineup to the old style, and it does it very well. I adore Ocarina Majora's Mask. Those were my Zeldas, and I'm always chasing that vibe. And obviously, Tears and Breath have been great. I'm not taking away from that. But can you talk a little bit more about that as somebody who never has played a Metroid Prime before? I watched, of course, Kyle Hayes play it back in the day on GameCube, but I've never ventured myself. So you now have me stoked for an entirely new angle and reason coming into Beyond.
Yeah, well, Metroid Prime 1, Tim said it, it's Super Metroid in 3D. It is these interconnected areas with multiple elevators, entrances, and exits into each one. Prime 2 and 3 aren't really that. It is Prime 3, you fly to different planets from your spaceship, and then when you land, it's more of a dungeon-like setup that is more self-contained. Look at Prime 4 and how it actually is set up. It is the desert in the middle, which I think is the worst part of the game, which we will talk about. But then there's one entrance to all of these dedicated areas on its edges. It is Hyrule Field from Ocarina of Time. There is Death Mountain. Go to it once you're in, you're in. And you do 90% of the main objectives in each area on your first visit to that area. You go through, you find a new elemental beam, you use that elemental beam to kill the boss that's waiting at the end, and then you leave. It's so Zelda. It's so 3D Zelda in a really good way. And that's not a big departure. 2 and 3, like I said, were already a lot like this, and 4 is just following in those footsteps. So yeah, if you miss that, if you miss here's handcrafted linear puzzle design with upgrade-based progression, that's Metroid Prime 4, and it does it super well.
Oh, I missed that, Logan. Okay, music to my ears. Tim, you're nodding a lot. You agree?
100%. Yeah, I mean, Logan's completely nailing it there. Like, I even think that Metroid Prime 1 feels that way to an extent as well. Like, there's a lot more similarities between Zelda games, like the traditional, whether it's top-down 2D or the Ocarina of Majora's games, and Metroid, whether it's 2D or 3D. Like, they are very, very similar concepts, right? Like, what is the difference between a Metroidvania and a Link to the Past?
There was that one hookshot area back there. Let me go back to it, yeah.
And I think that this game very much continues that. And both of us have said this, but, like, there are multiple locations, multiple dungeons, if you will, that are just... they're all timers, and I'd put that up there with Metroid, 2D, 3D, or Zelda. And I think that those core things, like all of them, there was not a bad dungeon in this whole game. Like, I think every one of the dungeons
they're all good.
Was at the very least great, if not a masterpiece of a dungeon. And it is kind of like the other stuff around it that might kind of like not be as high, but that's similar to Hyrule Field in a lot of those games, right? But yeah, there's a lot of, if you allow yourself to invest into the controls of this, Greg, I think you'll love it. But I think that's always been one of the bigger things for you with Metroid Prime, knowing you over the years of why it hasn't clicked for you. People also need to remember that Metroid Prime 1 controlled in the most insane way possible. Like, it was not a twin stick shooter at all. It was legitimately like you need to stop
GoldenEye style.
GoldenEye style. And over the years with the Metroid Prime trilogy on Wii, they changed it to motion controls, which were fantastic. And now with Metroid Prime Remastered, they refined those even more and added just what you'd expect the game to control based on how it looks in other video games. I think that there's never been a better time for Metroid Prime Remastered or for you, Greg, in particular.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
What kind of obviously without spoiling anything, how high are the highs of suit variants, color schemes? What level would you put it around? Because I would put Dread up there as like one of the tops ever.
It doesn't go beyond, I'll say that.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of that stuff, again, this goes back to what I was saying about it not going beyond. It is just Prime. Like, in a lot of ways, this is kind of just, it's Metroid Prime again. I feel like a lot of the abilities that you get, they're tried and true. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think they're used in very cool, unique ways. Like, we're doing some things, and it's the way that you'll be in a room, and I'll be constantly surprised at how I have to use my entire tool set to solve a problem. It's like, it's not just the one thing you got in this area. It's like every single thing, and all of a sudden I'm recontextualizing how I'm using a different ability, and that just keeps adding on top of itself. But a lot of those things are abilities that we've seen in many different games, in many different Metroid games. There are a couple new ones that are interesting, but I don't think that there's any like incredible major standout. That's true of all the Prime games, though. I think all since the first one, right? But each one kind of added some different abilities here and there, like the screw attack being added in 2. But like, I don't think of it as a bad thing. I just don't think of it as like a complete reinvention of Halo, of Metroid in any way. And I say Halo because as much as this game
Super Halo.
is Ocarina of Time, it's also Halo, the campaign of a Halo game. And you either love that or hate that. I love that. Like, this is one of my favorite first person shooter. I'm not going to call it that for the sake of this argument. Campaigns in a very long time.
Logan, one of your main takeaways from the preview event that I think I saw you at for about a millisecond was Mr. Miles
Mac.
What?
Miles McKenzie.
Miles
Mac.
McKenzie and Mac. That's right. One of the biggest takeaways that you had, and like many people had, justifiably so, was, oof, this sidekick can be a little bit annoying. And then there were some talks afterwards of, oh, maybe he's not even in the game that long. How did you feel like him being a sidekick and anybody else being a sidekick in this game? Were they too overbearing in your experience?
Overall, no, they were not too overbearing as a whole. There are moments where they are, but I think that Nintendo showed us the worst 30 minutes of this game besides the desert at the preview event. I think that there's an hour right after the hour that we played in New York. I'm like, this could have been the best preview event of my life if they had showed us this hour of the game. And I get it. There's going to be people that go to that preview event that haven't played Metroid Prime and need a little bit more guidance. So I understand. But when that's all we had to go on what that's Prime is going to look like, it was really discouraging. But no, overall, they're not too overbearing. They don't really outright spoil specific puzzle solutions, which was a big concern of mine. And they don't really do that. What they do is if you're riding around the desert and you're completing a mindless fetch quest that is attached to the desert, they will eventually assume that you're stuck because you've been riding around the desert for so long. I'm not. I'm just farming these green crystals, which you have to do.
I'm
for
doing
a
the
main
stupid
quest.
thing you want me
And
to
then-
do.
Exactly. And then Miles will call me on the radio and say, oh, hey, Samus, have you tried exploring this new area with your new abilities? Because you might find something you couldn't get before. I'm like, oh, don't tell me that. I'm doing a different quest right now. So that's a little annoying. But there are plenty of times where Samus loses radio signal. She's too far underground and nobody can contact her and you're completely alone and it is Metroid Prime. So I think that they find a nice balance. The companion's writing still isn't the strongest either. It is very just campy Halo sci-fi action. I'm not in love with it, but I don't think it's totally terrible.
Tim, what are your thoughts on it?
I think the game would be better received if the companions weren't in it. They didn't
me too.
bother me. But, and especially in terms of the like telling us what to do or whatever, that stuff really didn't bother me because to Logan's point, like anytime you're actually in a dungeon, they're not talking to you. Like there's always a reason that they're static or something. It is kind of just the like nudge to get you to like go back to a place or whatever.
It's just Samus like,
We
oh,
already noted
I got a
that.
bad connection. Let me.
Oh, it's in a tunnel. I can't hear you.
Sorry.
But to Logan's point, it's like the writing sucks for these characters, but like they also don't matter that much. And it's like it doesn't really get in the way. But I do think that this game would review better if they just weren't in it. And that's unfortunate. But it didn't deter me at all. Like they're fine. They are just a thing that's in the game. Some of them for puzzles and like just different set pieces. Nothing ever really felt like a true escort mission, like in a bad way. There were some moments in boss fights that them being there was like not the best, but like it really it's tough because it's like all this stuff is not even worth hampering on for me.
Sure.
Like it's like
What is worth hampering on?
because we're just saying we could talk about this stuff about Metroid Prime 1, like which is one of the best games of all time, but like some of the backtracking in that game is not good. Some of the fetch quests and stuff in that game is not good, but like we don't talk about that stuff because it doesn't get in the way of all the stuff that we should be talking about. And that's kind of my thoughts on the companions in this. It's like I'm not giving them props at all. I really do think that the majority of lines of dialogue they have suck, but there's not that much of it. So it doesn't.
I think the word I used
really
in my
matter.
review to sum them up overall is tolerable. They're just totally tolerable. Like they're not great, but you can get through it. fine.
Inoffensive.
They're
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
offensive.
sometimes
though.
offensive.
It's kind of like what are we doing here?
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were like they say
Yeah, a little
racist.
bit.
No.
Oh, you're a woman?
But this is all stuff that was completely in 3. I think there's more dialogue and more bad dialogue in Prime 3 than there is here.
Oh, I just played Prime 3. I think there's way more in this.
You think
I
so?
There's a lot more in this. Yeah, it's close, but I think that Prime 3 is very centered at the beginning, and then there's not as much after you kind of get into the meat of the game.
So, Logan, you kept hinting at your big sticking point, or one of them being the desert. Let's talk a bit about that, because I remember when they showed that during whatever Nintendo Direct, and it was whoa, wait, what was that? That looks flat, bland, and not fun to explore. Was that the vibe you have after playing it?
Yeah, this is if N64's Hyrule Field from Ocarina of Time wanted to be the Great Plateau from Breath of the Wild. Like, it has that ambition, but it's just not. It's so empty and bland to drive across, and this game has amazing music. It doesn't in the desert. Like they hide a jukebox behind an amiibo unlock, and then you can do it, but it's just not there. And then the same 3 enemy types pop up, and you just tap A to fire your projectile at them. And there's like a tiny handful of Breath of the Wild shrines. And I know people say we compare everything to Breath of the Wild. Literally, these are Breath of the Wild shrines. You go to them, you activate them, you go underground, you complete a puzzle, you talk to like a god at the end who warps you out. It's literally Breath of the Wild shrines. And there's so few of them, and they're not clever to discover because they're just in the sand somewhere. They're just there, sitting there for you to do. And the big issue, though, is it's fine if you just want to drive across it because the motorcycle controls fine or whatever. But it ties a main objective to the desert, which is the hunt for green crystals, which is you get this quest very early on, so it doesn't spring it on you in the 3rd act. You do have to finish it by the end, but you can chip away at it as you go. It's just the most random, mindless, runtime padding filler fetch quest there's ever been in a Metroid game, where you just drive along, crash into these green crystals, and fill up your meter. And that's it. And they're just strewn across randomly in this desert. And it is, I think, the worst part of any Metroid Prime game by far. I'm like, this, at a certain point, it felt like they had ambition to do something bigger with this desert, and they just had to ship this game after all the development hell and all its issues. It's like at a certain point, you got to put pencils down, and they didn't really get to finish the desert. It's fine because the dedicated dungeons are totally self-contained from all these issues, so it doesn't ruin the highs, but the desert does suck.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the desert, everything Logan is saying is like true, where there's so much, you see the potential. You see the Breath of the Wild. And it's almost like the bummer to me is what's not there compared to what is there, because if there were so many more of those shrines, I would be freaking thrilled. And this would be the best Metroid Prime easily. The shrines are cool. I like that they challenge you to do little puzzle rooms using Metroid abilities in the same way that the shrines in Zelda use the tools that you have. Like, doesn't need to be this entire design dungeon. We have those. Like, this could have been best of both worlds of old school and new school Zelda design. That's what the Beyond, I think, would have been. It's not, though. There's like 5 of them or whatever. There definitely should have been 30 of them. Yeah. And I think that would have made the desert so much better. The green crystal stuff, it's like, I'm not as mad at it as it sounds like Logan is, because I feel like naturally through the game got enough of them to not have to do. So
you weren't out there farming and
no, but I just kind of like just over like throughout the process of playing the game and looking for things, I like had enough for the final quest. But this is another thing that I think the game would have been better without him. Like, absolutely. So there's a couple things I can say that about, and that's not great. But that is what shaves things off for me of this the experience being so damn good that some of these like really annoying things are just, they're annoying. I just can't believe that a Metroid Prime game, how many decades into all this stuff, is still making the same mistakes that they made back then.
No, right. It's totally like a GameCube fetch quest. It's like the Triforce, but even more. It's like mindless compared to even that in Wind Waker. And it just is. I think that people just want to still maybe hear it's a 15-hour game without the green crystals. It's a 12 or 13-hour game, which I would be so much happier with. At a certain point, it's like, this is adding nothing besides runtime. And that to me is just like where Prime 4 is the least cohesive to me of all 4 Prime games, because it's, here's this desert that has this random content that's very different feeling than the dungeons, which have this, and the companions are sometimes here and sometimes not, and they're not very good when they are. Like, it's all these ideas, some feel like from maybe the first draft of Metroid Prime 4 that then Retro was forced to do. That's all speculation, but that's just what it feels like. Even the main villain, Silex, feels like an afterthought in this story. Like, this game is not that interested in telling a story about this villain that it's been teasing. And it's just very disjointed in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean it's not awesome, but that's just what held it back from like being this 9.5, 10 out of 10 game for me.
Tim, question for you, and I'm sorry if I missed it. 15 hours for Logan. How long did you take for you to beat it?
A little longer than that, but I was really trying to
Doing
do every
everything,
single
scanning
thing.
everything.
Yeah. Like closer to 20, I want to say, and like I have put in a lot of time afterwards. Like I just keep coming back to it because I'm really into it. But I am at a point that it's not fun to keep trying to 100% it like without a guide. I'm just like I'm kind of over this.
Kevin, can you bring up the photo I put into assets? At any point, do we get a resolution to, I think, the main point of conflict in the video game of who wins, like, you know, the largest, most extravagant shoulder pieces?
Sure.
Because I feel like that's really what the battle's about in this video game. Do we get any resolution there, Tim?
Can't spoil anything.
Do Samus's shoulder pads get large?
I
and
can't
spiky?
spoil anything.
Damn, dude, damn.
No spoilers. Yeah.
The shoulder pad supremacy is really the big mystery here. We're gonna learn about that.
I think a lot of what Logan was saying about the story and characters is true. I also feel that way about all the Metroid Primes, though. So it's just like par for the course, which I want better, but it also just doesn't. That's not what I care about Metroid Prime at all. So
One thing I'd like to jump back with you, Tim. You said at the opening this is a game that you finished and then immediately wanted to talk to somebody about. Was that because of, it sounds like it's not the story or the villain, so was it just, I finally played Metroid Prime at 4 and I want to talk, or did it end on a note where you're like, oh my God, I gotta.
Oh, it's not about that. It's about how good of a Metroid Prime game this is. Like, it's like, it's the boss fights. Like, okay, let's like, we spent a lot of time talking about the problems with this game.
Hold on, Kevin's got something. I think there's something going on
Yeah,
with Mike.
sorry, Tim. Can you unplug and plug your mic back in? I'm sorry. There's just this ringing
There's
noise.
a buzz or something. I saw the chat say,
that's coming in.
He's electric.
Ring a ding ding, Tim.
Electric
It's
with
plugged back in.
enthusiasm.
Now talk, Tim. Clear mics.
I'm talking. You hear me?
Nah, it's still happening. Damn it.
Okay.
You can use my mic.
Here, we can do an ad break and we'll switch it off if you want, Kev. You want
Yeah,
to
let's do that.
Okay.
Everybody, of course, remember, we are kind of funny. That is Logan from IGN, and we're reviewing Metroid Prime 4 Beyond right now, just like we do each and every weekday. That's right. The Kind of Funny Gamescast takes you through the biggest topics in gaming, whether they be reviews, previews, or just things we need to talk about live each and every weekday. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames, Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, podcast services around the globe. If you like us, pick up a Kind of Funny membership. Patreon.com/kindoffunny, YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple or Spotify to get all of our programming ad-free. Get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series we call Greg Way. And of course, get good karma for supporting an 11-person small business. But right now, you're not using your benefits. So here's a word from our sponsors.
The wait is over. Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, the action RPG based on the popular solo leveling franchise, is now available on Steam. As I previously mentioned, I'm a huge solo leveling fan, and this game comes at the perfect time as everyone is patiently waiting for the next season of the anime. But now I can dive into this world and feel what it's like to actually be Sung Jin-woo as he continues to fight to become the strongest hunter. And I can even join up to 3 friends for some co-op raids to defeat incredible bosses and see who really is the best. If you don't know the story, players will work their way up as Sung Jin-woo, an E-ranked nobody that no one wants in their raiding party, clawing their way up to becoming the powerful Shadow Monarch. Players can create their own version of Sung Jin-woo, customizing playstyles, skills, and even appearance, so you can create your own ideal version who really stands out from the crowd. Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive is available now on Steam, so get ready to experience Sung Jin-woo's next adventure.
This episode's brought to you by Sundays for Dogs. When it comes to dog food, it seems like you have to make a choice. You can either have fresh and healthy, or you can have easy to store and serve, but never both. But you don't have to choose anymore, thanks to Sundays. Unlike other fresh dog food, Sundays does not require thawing, refrigeration, or preparation because of their air drying process. You just pour and serve, that's it. Sundays is fresh, air-dried dog food made from clean ingredients. Recipes are customized based on the needs of your dog, its size, breed, allergies, activity levels, and more. If it's not 100% all-natural meat and superfoods with 0% synthetic nutrients or artificial ingredients, then it's not Sundays. Thousands of dog parents have made the switch and reported pups with more energy, better poops, softer fur, and fresher breath. Moose and Toretto have been loving their Sundays, and I love seeing them so happy. Make the switch to Sundays. Go right now to sundaysfordogs.com/kindafunny and get 50% off your first order, or you can use code kindafunny at checkout. That's 50% off your first order at sundaysfordogs.com/kindafunny, sundaysfordogs.com/kindafunny, or use code kindafunny at checkout. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. If you are a last-minute shopper, don't worry at all. I have the perfect gift to solve all of your problems. No lie, Aura Frames are undeniably the best gift I've ever given, and I'm going to be sad when I run out of people to give it to because I'll never gift a gift this great again. Families, friends, partners, everyone loves being able to have beautiful frames showing off their loved ones and cherished memories. Multiple people at Kinda Funny have Aura Frames on their desks, and it's always a treat to walk by and see what fun memory is there. Plus, you can order the frame online and preload it with photos and videos using the Aura app, so it's ready to go right out of the box. There's unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos and videos as you like. Just download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi with no hidden fees. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named number 1 by Wirecutter by using promo code KINDAFUNNY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code KINDAFUNNY. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and the frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
And we're back. Tim, before the hiss cut you off, we're getting into why you wanted to talk about this game.
Yes. So the Metroid Prime games are so special to me mainly for 3 reasons. There's the atmosphere of the art style / music. There's the dungeon design, and then there's the boss fights. And that's where Metroid Prime 4 excels. All 3 of those ways.
Okay.
I think this is the most beautiful Metroid Prime game. I think both technically and even just from an art design level, it's up there. Like, I don't think there's been a bad art-directed Metroid Prime game yet. Well, maybe if you count Federation Force. But regardless,
We don't.
this one it's stunning. Every single location you're in feels different, whether it's the Volt Forge. There are moments in it that are breathtaking, and like there's an elevator. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to know when you play the game what I'm talking about.
Good. Yes.
It's so good. I just got chills thinking about it. It's incredible stuff. The kind of lush green fury, whatever they call it, the area y'all have seen a lot in the previous stuff. It's stunning, and the music backs it up, and it's perfect. It reminds me of the highs of Metroid Prime 1, of Phendrana drifts and all that stuff. Like some of the most iconic memories I have of these games. This adds new ones to that. And then the boss fights, they are plentiful and awesome. I think there was only one boss fight in the entire game that I didn't like the mechanics of. And otherwise,
Me too. Exactly one. Yeah. I wonder if it's the same one.
Maybe we'll talk later. I don't want to spoil anything, but but even that boss fight, when it ends, I was like, the ending was awesome though. So it's like there's a lot there, but again, like I feel like the bulk of the actual gameplay, that's the stuff that adds up to why this is an amazing video game to me. And Logan was talking about it, and it's like it's definitely one of those, like, I don't want to say too much. I want you all to just be able to go into this experience, but the Volt Forge location is one of my favorite video game location set dungeons, whatever you want to call it, ever. It top to bottom, it's what Metroid Prime is all about. All of those things coming together, the boss fights, the atmosphere, and just the dungeon design and the storytelling of the world building. Like Metroid Prime 4, it's all about the scanning and learning what's going on. The story of this tower, as you go down it, you go up it, what you're learning about and how it all is presented to you, it is quintessential Metroid Prime. And quintessential Metroid Prime is one of the best games of all time.
Goddamn, Logan.
Yeah, when I was in Volt Forge, my favorite area of the game as well, probably my favorite Metroid Prime area in the series, at least up there with some of the best from Prime 1. I just thought, is this going to be the best Metroid Prime game? And it did not go on to, I think, be that, but it is just such an incredible area. And what I love about the world design, too, is just that I think about this in all the Prime games. I think they all do this really well, and it's just a tiny touch that you can tell you're playing Metroid Prime, is in this first-person view, when you blast open a door and that door opens, just the way that room is framed through the door. Like, they just think about all of this stuff. Like, there's a very early example in Fury Green where you shoot the door open, and just what you see the second it opens, it just like takes you back, and it just looks amazing. Retro still has it from a world design perspective. Like, it is up there with the entire Prime trilogy of just how these places are laid out and how they make you feel when you're tiptoeing through them. It is tense, it is lonely, it is isolating. It's brilliant, and Volt Forge is the best one in the game.
Okay. What about the other tentpoles you set up there in terms of this is what makes a Prime game.
Yeah, I mean the boss fights, right? Atmosphere. It's like the boss fights are incredible in this, and I feel like that part of the allure of Metroid Prime is it's not Halo. It's not a first-person shooter. It's different, and it's not about precise aiming. It's more of a puzzle shooter. It's about timing of your shots as opposed to aiming your shots. You lock on. It's very much Ocarina of Time. There's Z targeting in this, right? And I think that allows the boss fights to be super creative and fun. And I just don't think that a boss fight in Halo games is never that great. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like a thing that you got to do. It is a joy in Metroid Prime. You look forward to it. It is a reward for solving the puzzles of the dungeon to be able to fight these bosses and how creative they can be and how hyped the music is and how tense it all feels and how badass Samus is. And I think that they have so many different examples in this game of making me feel like a badass, and it's awesome. Not quite as many as Metroid Dread. I do think Metroid Dread, there's a couple things about that game that I wish were in here. I wish we had some type of parry. Like, I really like that addition in Metroid Dread, and I think that that's the type of stuff that could have elevated this into
Beyond.
Exactly. Like, not just what we've had 3 times now with Metroid Prime games. To Logan's point about Retro still having it, this game gives me so much faith that their next one really could be the best Metroid Prime ever, because a Switch 2 exclusive without the development issues that we know and all that stuff, just Retro from the ground up making a game, that shit is going to hit like nothing before.
Ben will be driving a car by then.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like Switch 2.
I don't think so. What do you think, Logan? Like, I feel like this kind of like gets them on a path where, they were putting out Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 like fairly close together. Like, I do
every 3 years. Yeah. No, I think I'm with you, Tim. I posted this on Blue Sky earlier today. I didn't want to start talking about Prime 5 the day the Prime 4 review went up, but that is a main takeaway from this is without the baggage of what Prime 4 was, without having to develop for Switch 1 and Switch 2, which, by the way, Switch 1 version, totally viable if you haven't upgraded yet.
Yeah.
It runs at locked 60 on Switch 1, which is remarkable. But yeah, without all of that baggage of what this was to just kick this one out the door, and it still turned out to be fantastic. I think Prime 5 could be right in line with Prime 1. It's still in very good hands.
I'd like to talk about performance and just hardware. We know that handheld, I believe, on Switch 2 is 120 frames, and I guess docked mode is 4K 60. And I also want to talk about
120, 1080p.
Oh, 4K. Wait, what's docked?
There's 2 modes docked. It's 4K 60 or 1080 120.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is how I played.
So yeah, I'd like to know what Logan sort of preferred playing as well, but I would want to talk about control schemes, whether y'all were doing the
Condor
mouse,
super chats
whatever.
just like you can to be part of the show and said, how did the mouse controls feel? I know we're driving there. I want to hear about that eventually, but did either of you play with those mouse controls?
Logan?
Very briefly.
Oh, it sucked that much, Logan?
It's fine. It's just, I think that Tim mentioned this earlier. This game controls amazingly well. It just feels great, whether you do the Pro Controller with the twin stick controls and slight motion aiming adjustments, or the twin Joy-Con controls like a Wii Remote and Nunchuck with full motion aiming for your shooting like Prime 3 or Prime Trilogy. They're both awesome. They both feel fantastic. There's not really any shortcomings in either of them. And so when you plop that mouse down onto your desktop and you have to claw your pointer finger over the Y button to turn into a morph ball, it just doesn't feel good. I just prefer the other ways. It's totally functional. Like if you had a mouse grip for your Joy-Con, which I don't, maybe it would be better, but I think that it just controls so well otherwise, you don't need the mouse controls. So I'm not disappointed that I didn't find them that good.
I played with the mouse controls for a second. I mean, the thing about it is the mouse controls are just on if you just turn the controller down. It's not like for
It's very cool.
It's seamless and it just kind of works. So if you do want to get some little fine-tune aim for the times you need that, you can just turn the controller and do it. I don't like how the Joy-Con feels as a mouse. It's stupid. It is what it is. But I didn't have time to do this. I am interested in it. I know you can plug in a normal mouse, like an actual USB mouse to the Switch, and I think that is going to be a very viable way for people to play. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way you end up playing, Andy.
I'm not sure, only because I wonder about how the Switch buttons would map to what you're expecting those front face buttons to be on the Joy-Con. I wonder what the functionality there would be. But the mouse controls did not feel good to me at the preview. And as somebody who was like going into this super stoked because I love keyboard mouse shooters on PC, I have, as I'm playing through Metroid Prime Remastered 1, have fallen in love with just gyro controls because that's how I normally would play Splatoon back in the day.
Then you're gonna be sad.
Yeah, I love the gyro.
I was a motion guy. I feel like the dual sticks, it's amazing. It works the way you'd expect it to. But
That's what I used.
I think that the motion controls / an ideal mouse control setup is the ideal way, just because of how pinpoint accurate it is and like how good it feels. You feel like Samus, like moving around, moving your arms and stuff. Like there's parts that I was telling Andy, like there's enemies with shields, and I'm like using one arm to like grapple off a shield and then shoot them. I'm like, this is awesome, man. Like it feels like the greatest light gun game of all time. But I also think that the mouse setup, I would have been super down to do it if I was sitting at a desk. I was playing on my TV, and like that's not an ideal setup for that at all. But there are plentiful control options, and I think they're all great. I think everybody will find something that they absolutely love because they just allow you to do whatever you want, and it feels so good.
How modernized does it feel compared to Metroid Prime Remastered? It's been interesting hearing Andy talk about like checkpoints and stuff and how the game kind of feels a little bit archaic as far as how it handles that stuff. Does this feel, or does Metroid Prime 4 feel like it's a step forward for that stuff?
I've been bouncing back and forth between 4 and Remastered just because I've been so into this stuff. And it's funny how many quality of life, little tiny things that add up to Metroid Prime 4, I think just being so much better in a modern sense.
How bad is that map on Prime 1
compared to 4? It's crazy.
Have the sync controls reversed.
It's wild. There's like it's all those little tiny things. But I mean, Metroid Prime Remastered it's a freaking masterpiece, awesome. Right? But I think that the map is the best it's ever been in a Metroid Prime now, and I think that just like the switching between all your different functions and stuff is easier and makes a little bit more sense control layout wise, and obviously because of the graphics and the technical performance of it all, it's just like it's all these like little quality of life things that add up. In terms of the game design and the like what you're saying, the archaic nature, like I keep saying, it's like that's Metroid design, like that's like it's how these things work. There are way more checkpoints in this, though. Like, there are way more. There was never a time that I died and was like, fuck my life. My last hour is gone. Right, Logan?
Yeah. Yeah, and autosaves also. There's autosave. I only died once in this game, and it was to the boss that I didn't like. So I'm wondering if that was the same time. But no, it autosaves really nice. There's save rooms everywhere. Areas double back on each other in really smart, very Metroid-y ways. Like this, it feels very modern. And I think even controlling too, just the maneuverability Samus has when she pops out of the morph ball. Like you keep sprinting forward or to the side much faster than popping out of the morph ball in Metroid Prime Remastered. That just feels better. Your visor's on a face button now. It's not whatever weird thing you had to do to equip the visor or the missiles in the last game. And no matter what upgrades you get for your visor, it's still mapped to that one button. And that visor can just do it all. Like it's not switching between this visor and that one and the other one. Like it feels a lot better. This is the snappiest that it's ever felt to control.
I feel like this is a good place to insert this question. I've seen the chat a lot, but since we're talking about modernization and so on and so forth, Roger Picorni, who used to work here, super chats and says, I've never played a Metroid. What did you say?
Miss him.
No, we don't.
Oh.
No, Mike was very clear about that.
Oh, he misses Nick Moore.
I've never played a Metroid Prime. Should I just hop into 4? This has been a question I've seen kicked around a lot in the chats. Obviously, there's a lot of people like myself coming at it who have skipped 1, 2, and 3, excited to jump in with a Switch 2 version. Timothy, I see you debating it in your head.
I truly don't think you can go wrong between Metroid Prime Remastered and Metroid Prime 4. There's just different things about them. Like if I could force you to finish one of them, I'd say Metroid Prime 1. I do think there's a way higher chance that Greg Miller and even Roger will stick with Metroid Prime 4 than Metroid Prime 1. But like Metroid Prime 1 it's an actual freaking masterpiece, man. Like it's so special.
Logan?
Prime 4, I think, is the best place to start the Metroid Prime series. I feel the exact same way about this as the 2D Metroids, which is play Dread first, play Prime 4 first. They are a little bit more on rails, guidance heavy, hand-holdy in some ways, but still quintessentially Metroid, that then you can take the training wheels off and play Super Metroid or Metroid Prime. Like it's exactly the same situation as play Dread, then you'll be ready to appreciate Super. I think if you just pick up Prime Remastered, you may not fully appreciate it. People will bounce off that game, but if you get your feet wet with Prime 4 and then you're ready for the big stuff in Prime Remastered, I think that's the way to go.
Blessing?
Yeah.
Where do you come down on this Metroid Prime 4 business and Metroid Pride in general? Are you excited for this one?
Oh, I'm super excited. Yeah, I love hearing it. It's been fun just listening to Logan and Tim talking about it because, of course, me and Andy recently got into Metroid Prime Remastered. Or I played Metroid Prime Remastered when that came out and fucking adored it. But I did not expect to come out of that being like, oh, this is a masterpiece, and that's legitimately how I felt after playing that game, which is crazy to say, playing a game that came out 20 years ago, playing that in 2023 or whatever, but it legitimately stands the test of time. And so, yeah, hearing Tim talking about it during the previews recently, looking at the gameplay, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait for Metroid Prime 4.
How investigative are some of the levels when you are trying to just figure out how to open that door? I think that's one of the things I've enjoyed the most is scanning the things that you didn't really know you needed to scan, inferring information and seeing, I'm looking for the statue of time and not space or whatever, and then you go look at the statue of time and it's like, oh, it's got a thing here. Did you feel like you were kind of coming across these discoveries in a very natural way?
Logan?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little bit less involved than Prime 1, which could be kind of muddled or esoteric at times. I don't think that's bad. I think overall Prime 4 is much more linear. If you enter an area and there's 3 doors, usually it's here's a save room, here's a door you can't open yet, and here's the door to proceed. But that's not bad. It's just this Zelda dungeony design that we're talking about. And there is lots of scanning. You have to scan so many machines and terminals and computers to activate things and make lava flow somewhere or open up an electric gate. It's still full of that. I feel like Samus is like a detective in the Metroid Prime series, and it totally feels like that here.
Yeah, it's Logan's so right where it's not as esoteric. I think it is way more linear, but to what we were also saying, it's each one of the dungeons does such a great job with the world building of that area that scanning all the stuff, it might not be putting together the puzzle of that room, but it's more putting together the ethos of the entire area, which will then kind of allow you to understand when you get into another room, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You already know how to handle this type of puzzle just because of the kind of story that you're getting of the place. I really do think that each area, the way that it kind of unfolds what the past and present of the place and what Samus being there is, how that's affecting the area is the highlight of the game. And I think that is, more so than the other entries in the franchise. Every area was sure, we've seen a jungle before, we've seen a lava place before, we've done these things, but they do them in ways that I've never seen them done, and I think that is so special.
I agree, and I think that they are very separate and self-contained, like we said, which I think some Metroid fans won't like, but Tim and I really do like. And I think one of the things about it that's a highlight is that each one sometimes feels like it's genre shifting a little bit. Volt Forge is just classic Metroid Prime. You're alone, you're uncovering this area, you're activating generators. It's super classic. One area feels a lot like Alien, and there is a monster who maybe is chasing you, or you're waiting for something to pop out at you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then sometimes you're with companions, so it feels more like Aliens, and you're going through these firefights together. Each area feels totally different, like a Zelda dungeon would feel totally different. And it's their own little minivania inside this larger game, and it just works so well. And I love them all for different reasons. Initially, I thought some were weaker than others, but then after sitting with them, it's oh no, it's just doing something completely different than the other one is.
And one other thing that I wrote down one of my notes that I wanted to make sure that I said. This game is very Star Wars Episode 1 coded, and I mean that very complimentary. In terms of just ship designs, creature designs, sound designs, there's just a lot of Star Wars Episode 1, and it's kind of awesome.
Andy, hit me with some pod racing.
That's Sebulba.
Yeah, of course.
And that also sounds just like a lot of the enemies in the desert in this game. It's pretty cool.
Remember when the big bubble shields on that fight on Naboo, when they would the sound effects are so awesome, dude. Did you see everybody posting on our subreddit, by the way, of this dude who did all of the pod race with his mouth sounds?
No.
And it's you're kind of encroaching
Right,
on my
infringement.
thing,
Come on.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now I'm
yeah.
going to encroach on his thing and probably do the same thing.
Well,
Okay. You're whatever. Red super chatted and said, how's the scanning for the completionist? Tim, you talked about you're stopping right now because it's not fun guides or where you're at, blah, blah. Is that tied to this kind of thing?
It's not that it's not fun. It's more that it's just like I don't have the time to be lost. Like
Sure,
you know what
sure,
I mean?
sure.
And like I do think that this game does guide you.
I have a kid on the way. I can't do it.
But there was them being like, hey, maybe you should go here. That stuff doesn't bother me because it's like they stay out of your way so much that it is kind of a nice reminder to be like, okay, I got to get something in this area still, because you wouldn't know otherwise necessarily what is left. Like as you're playing through the game, I don't think it really gets in your way. I think as you get towards the end, they start giving you ways to know how much you have in an area and what's missing. And like that's good game design, I think. Like I don't need things to be just like completely obtuse and just like figure it out. I was trying to 100% scan and 100% item complete just as I was playing, and that didn't end up happening. I think I beat the game. I forgot what it was, but like maybe 69% for the items, and then like 80% for the scans. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, damn, I thought I scanned everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raptorface says, Tim says it's like Halo. Were there set pieces?
I mean, yes, but it's more like Halo just in the sense of like there are a lot of just campaign moments with the NPCs that are just very Halo campaign, where like you're on a bridge, there's hordes of enemies coming at you, and there's just quippy dialogue going on, and it's fun. Like it's the kind of highs of the early Halo campaigns. The set pieces, like there's set moments, less set pieces. Like it's not like set pieces. I'm thinking Uncharted. I'm thinking like crazy stuff like that. And it's not really like that. But I mean, Metroid Prime bosses to themselves are set pieces, and there's some incredible ones in this game. Like one that Logan and I were talking about offline that I don't want to spoil, but like it's like very, 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 very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, any closing thoughts here as we wrap up this journey? Logan, I know, of course, there's so much content. Like I said, over on IGN, you can get your review. There's a review discussion up. There's all sorts of stuff. There's the video review. Are you Metroided out at this point, or are you still just jonesing to talk about it, play more? Where are you to close all this?
Oh yeah, I'm totally jonesing to talk about it more. I think I'm going to play it on hard mode, which is locked through beating it on normal the
Nice.
first time. So I want to go through and do that because there's missable scans in the very opening area. So make sure you scan everything to your logbook because you can't go back there. And I don't know if there's a way to find them. So yeah, I want to get a full 100% run by scanning everything and finding all the items. And no, I love this game. It's funny that Tim brought up episode 1 because playing Prime 4 to me feels like episode 7. The Force Awakens, where it's like, yeah, this is Metroid Prime again. It's a little bit different, but it's telling a very similar story with very similar powers, but a twist that makes it modern. Like it totally feels like hopefully the start of a new trilogy that I think is really, really strong. And yeah, like the high moments will stick with me for years from this game because there's just nothing like Metroid Prime. And it feels like a miracle that it turned out this well after the mystery that this game was for the last 10 years of it was a logo for 7 years. And then the marketing was weird leading up to it. And it turns out to just be a really, really solid entry in this franchise.
You nailed it with The Force Awakens. Like that's what I was just saying episode 1 in terms of sounds and designs, but oh my God, this is The Force Awakens of Metroid Prime. And that to me, that's a great thing. I love this game.
Yep.
I highly recommend it to people. I highly recommend Metroid Prime Remastered. Metroid Prime, all of them are incredibly special games, and this is up there.
All right. A 9 from our own Tim Geddes, an 8 from Logan Planted IGN. Logan, thank you for your time today. Where can people keep up with you?
Yeah, you can find me online at Logan J. Plant and check out Nintendo Voice Chat over on the IGN Games YouTube channel. We go up every Friday. We're going to have a big Metroid Prime 4 episode over there as well this upcoming Friday. And last week we did a super fun Metroid Prime Trilogy episode with Per Schneider and Brian Altano. That was super fun.
Of course, everybody, I've seen confusion in the chat. No, Roger did not get fired. I believe he's doing what's called quiet quitting, where 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, he's like, I'm going on Thanksgiving break, and now Thanksgiving's over. He's still not at work. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? How could he not come back to
He's
the whole
submitting
thing?
thumbnails.
He's also submitting job applications in New York. I think. Of course, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Remember, each and every weekday we run you through the biggest topics in video games, whether they be reviews, previews, or things we need to talk about, live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, podcast services around the globe. If you like that, of course, pick up a membership, patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple, Spotify. Get everything ad-free, get good karma, get your daily dose of me. And of course, remember, we are always live, meaning that we are not done right now. If you're on YouTube, click on over to our stream of Fallout 76. We're going into the Burning Springs. We're meeting Walton Goggins. We're hanging out with Mr. Hawks from the community and having a great time. If you're on Twitch, you don't have to do anything. You can just chill out and we'll be live in one more second. But if this is where it ends for you, remember, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
I'm Martin Goggins.